So poo itself is really interesting. Contrary to popular belief, poo is not just waste product that you expel. What's exciting about poo is it's teeming with lots of microbes. We know that about 75% of poo is water, 25% of poo is solids. And of that 25%, it's mainly made up of organic matter, which is living matter. About 50% of that organic matter is actually microbes. We're talking about bacteria and viruses. So there are actually billions of bacteria in your average stool. We can determine a lot from someone's poo. We can tell how healthy that person may be from the microbes in the gut. And what I mean by that is that we know that certain conditions are linked to particular changes in microbes. So there's been a lot of research linking, for example, conditions like diabetes and obesity to changes in your bacterial population, your gut microbiota. Research has shown us that there is a profile of microbes which are reflected in good health. It can also inform us about strategies to help improve gut health. For example, the use of certain probiotics can be really beneficial in helping to correct the gut microbiota, particularly if there's an imbalance. Also, we know there are some interventions like fecal microbial transplantation, which is where poo from a healthy person transplanted to someone who has a particular health condition, that can lead to a correction of that imbalance. It can lead to a boost in that microbial diversity. So prior to 1997, when we describe stool itself, we'll use terms such as watery, loose, hard. But in 1997, the Bristol Stool Chart became the gold standard go-to guide for evaluating stool form. We know that there are 7 different categories for the Bristol Stool Chart. Number 1 refers to very hard stool, pebble-like, almost like a nugget. Bristol Form 2 itself is hard but sausage-like. Then we've got Bristol Stool 3 and 4. So 3 itself is sausage-like with some cracks, and 4 is sausage-like but is very soft. And 3 and 4 are considered to be the ideal forms of stool that people often strive for. Stool 5 is where we've got soft blobs with very clear defined edges. Stool 6 is where there's mushy stool with ragged edges. And stool 7, just watery form. There was some really good research that was published looking at 5,000 adults in the United States. And what this study showed was that 90% of men would have a stool consistency between 3 and 5, whereas for women, the consistency varied from 2 to 6. We should be looking at our stool on a pretty regular basis. And the reason why that's important is because not only can stool consistency give us an idea about diarrhea, constipation, and irritable bowel syndrome, which can be reflected in both constipation and diarrhea, but also we can look for the presence of blood in the stool, which is really important because it may signify conditions such as colorectal cancer. It could be from benign conditions such as hemorrhoids, but we've got to rule out the more serious conditions. The presence of dark tarry stool is important because it may signify a bleed from the upper gut, such as a stomach ulcer. And conditions like that should always prompt referral to a doctor.